Good day, everyone. Welcome to our Social Studies virtual class, grade 7A and 7B students. Your teacher here, Ms. Michelle Joy. Now, class, before we proceed with our discussion, let's just have a recap of the last topics that we had discussed. Number 1, cooperative. Number 2, Robert Owen, the founder of cooperative. Number 3, first cooperative in Thailand, which is the Watchan Cooperative Unlimited Liability that is in Pitsanulok province. Now, class, our topic for this week is about sufficiency economy, and here are the words to learn. Please repeat after me so you can still practice your reading skills and your speaking skills even if you're just at home. Are you ready? Let's start reading now. Number 1, sufficiency. Number 2, self-reliance. Number 3, communal self-reliance. Number 4, management. And number 5, resources. When we say sufficient, it means enough. When we say self-reliance, you are not a burden to anyone else. Communal self-reliance, meaning to say you help in your community so that everyone will benefit from it. Number 4, management. It is how you manage your time, your money, your resources. And number 5, resources, anything that you have for your consumption. Now, what are the objectives of the lesson? First, students must be able to know what is sufficiency economy. And number 2, students must be able to know the 3 concepts of sufficiency economy. Now, class, you can find these on page 73 of your book. Now, these are the list of students in grade 7A who did not yet do PA1 and PA2. If your name is here, then please do so. If you have any problem about your PA1 and PA2, you can always send me a message in my personal line account. Next, these are the students who did not take PA1 and PA2 in grade 7B. Now, class, let us have a short discussion through a video of what sufficiency economy is.
Initiated by His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand, the sufficiency economy has its roots in Thai culture. Thai people have long been taught how to live their everyday lives with moderation and caution. The philosophy of the sufficiency economy grows out of those general principles. Living life using the sufficiency philosophy as a guideline to finding real happiness is not as complicated as it may seem, but we must first of all understand that this philosophy encompasses 3 constituents. 1. Moderation. This refers to the state of feeling and being fulfilled. Practically speaking, when production and consumption meet as equals, nor surplus, shortage, or waste will occur. 2. Reasonableness. It is advisable to consider the pros and cons of each situation before making a decision and to base the decision upon explainable and acceptable facts and figures. 3. Immunity to misleading influences and changes. This principle helps us and our community to remain stable and unaffected by outside influences. A feasibility study should be conducted to be aware of possible outcomes. As well as the aforementioned constituents, knowledge and morality are also key preconditions. This means proper and relevant knowledge must be gathered prior to building strategies and implementing tactics. Meanwhile, morality like honesty, the greater good, fairness, accountability, and the sufficiency of personal and national needs must be taken into account in each decision-making process. This will ensure that we ourselves and our community are trustworthy, resulting in pride and dignity. A sufficiency economy is not aimed at denying growth, competition, connection, or globalization. Instead, it teaches us not to harm ourselves, our community, or others by exploiting human resources and taking excessive advantage of natural resources in order to generate high productivity and profit. Adopting a sufficient lifestyle can be applied to any setting, whether it is agricultural, industrial, financial, or in the service sector. The key is to create the least debt or no debt at all. However, seeking loans is acceptable as long as they are necessary for our basic needs or for the expansion of our business, which will in turn help generate additional income to support our lives and be able to pay back the money and interest to the creditor over time. As mentioned, a sufficiency economy is a means to happiness. It's a philosophy that yields freedom to make life's decisions. But to attain that freedom and real happiness, people must learn how to live an independent lifestyle by earning enough to live on, by growing enough food to eat, and to develop interdependent networks by sharing and caring for one another. In truth, a sufficiency economy is a philosophy to enable us to develop respect for ourselves and gain a ready willingness to show hospitality to others. These are principles that bring happiness to us from within and make it possible for Thailand to top the list as the happiest country in the world.
Okay, class, so that is a short video about sufficiency economy. Now, it's time to open your books, class. You can find sufficiency on page 74 of your social studies books. Sufficiency economy. So the sufficiency economy application, you can see it by looking at this figure. Now let's read about the figure. A model showing how a farmer can manage a piece of land according to the philosophy of the sufficiency economy in order to be self-reliant. So class, as you can see here, this land is divided into four. The first one, 30% for pond, in which you can put fish and you can harvest it later for personal consumption or for selling. The second 30% is your garden. You can plant your vegetables, your fruits. The next 10% is the area which you are going to build your house. And the last 30% is for rice farming, or you can also crops for corn. You can also grow crops like corn. Now, grow what you eat what you grow, make what you use, and use what you make. Next. Class, this next paragraph is in your book. Please highlight the underlined words that I underlined here because it means these words are important. So the philosophy of sufficiency economy was officially introduced to Thais following King Bhumibol's initiation in 1997 after the country's severe economic crisis. It was aimed to be a guideline for people from all walks of life to survive the crisis and for the country's economy to grow. So King Bhumibol Adulyadej initiated or thought of something. How can he help Thai people to survive in 1997? Because Thailand experienced severe economic crisis. When you say severe economic crisis, the economy of our country way back 1997 was at the lowest. So, King Bumibon Adulyadej thought of helping people by initiating sufficiency economy. It means to maximize the resources of every people. How did he do this? Okay, so the sufficiency economy philosophy, His Majesty the King of Thailand developed and introduced SEP in all royal projects in Thailand since 1974. So actually, class, it's not only in 1997, but it actually started way back in 1974 to help all people, especially the ones living in poor rural areas. So when you say rural areas, these areas are far away from the city or areas that needs economic help. Now let's proceed. What are the three main concepts of sufficiency economy? Now looking at your book on page 74, you can highlight these three main concepts. Now the first one is self-reliance. You can find this in your book and please highlight the one that I underlined. If I did not underline, then do not highlight it. So self-reliance means being self-reliant means not be burdened for others. Means you live on your own. Okay? You spend the money that you have, that you don't have to borrow from anyone else. Number two, communal self-reliance. People should be encouraged to help one another, especially if you are in a community, because what can help you can also help the people in your community. Underline this sentence in your book. And the third one, management. In all careers, good management is necessary in making the best use of limited resources for people and the environment. So again, as I have told you before, management is how are you going to use your resources? How are you going to divide it? Like the one that I have shown you a while ago. Now, class, in management, you can see there is no underline word, meaning you have to underline all of it. All right? Okay, class, now it's time for me to give you the activity for July 12. So answer the following questions. Number one, define sufficiency economy. It means what is sufficiency economy? Number two, what is the aim of sufficiency economy, or why did King Bumibon initiated sufficiency economy? To help who? And the third one, enumerate the three concepts of sufficiency economy, which we just studied. So we have letter A, B, and C. Please write your answers here. Now, when you finish answering your activity, please send it to your Google Classroom so I can check them right away. So I'll see you again, class, on Thursday. Goodbye, everyone. So it's the end of our lesson. See you in our virtual class.